Alright, so this is the coding walkthrough video for prototype 0.9. Now, we've done a lot of movement changes this week, and that's kind of been the main focus. Well, if you've seen the weekly update post, the main focus for this week was actually getting the camera to stop clipping through walls. So essentially, when you move the camera around and pan it around the player, it would clip through like the floor and the walls and things like that. That was the main focus of this week. It hasn't gone great, to be honest. It was a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And as a result, it's not quite ready yet, and we'll probably save that for prototype 1.0 or 1.1. But this isn't all we've got. As you can see down here, there's a bunch of scripts that I'm working on, but essentially, we've got it to stop clipping through, but as a result, the camera moves up because there's basically a collider on the camera. Go away, I'm trying to do a demonstration. So if we go over here, and pan the camera around, it doesn't collide anymore, but it does move the camera. So basically the main focus of the next couple of weeks is going to be getting that, try and get the camera to kind of move back into its original position. Or something along those lines, essentially. But yeah, as I say, that wasn't the main focus for this week. It was movement. So I'm just going to show you now what changes have been made. So as you can see, the player moves a lot slower as standard now. This is their walking speed, and now if I hold F, this is the sprinting speed. So you probably notice in quite a lot of video games that they'll have standard walking and sprinting. So I thought that would be a good thing to add to this, essentially. And it also makes movement a bit more interesting and a bit more fluid. The rotation speed for the player has also been adjusted. He's faster now, basically to aid in this, so we can get around him. Sprint it a bit. And then do that melee damage. Oh, what's going on? There we go. I accidentally tapped into C and I wonder what happened there. But yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, sprinting is a big thing that's happened this week. Just get rid of this guy. There you go, he's gone. And the other thing that's also happened as well is doing a dodge mechanic. Now we had one, as you may recall, we've had one for the past few prototypes with basically you hold F and he moves really quickly, like that. It was like that, essentially. But what I've done this time is made it a lot more complicated. So now, you notice the player can rotate as normal, but if I hold Control A, he dodges to the right, to the left rather, and if I hold Control D, he dodges to the right. Now, as you can see, it is quite glitchy. That's mainly due to the transform.translate part of the code. I'm going to have a look at that next week and try and get that fixed. But it's kind of like The Witcher 3, and how the dodging in that basically works. You can basically use it to dodge to the left or dodge to the right and out of the way, out of harm's way, essentially. There we go. Look. So yeah, it is a bit glitchy visually, but physically it actually works really well. Just dodge to the right, sprint him in. Let's actually fight this guy. There we go. And dead. But yeah, dodging to the left, dodging to the right. And you'll also notice as well, when he dodges, because you hold A to move that way and D to move that way, when he dodges it stops the rotation. Otherwise you'd have a really weird dodge system, essentially. So it stops the rotation and essentially allows him to just dodge to the left and dodge to the right. And this particular mechanic can't be spammed, so you can't just hold it down and he'll teleport off that way somewhere. It's got a timer on it, in a similar way to how the previous dodge mechanic did, to essentially stop it being spammed. So what I'll do now is take you through the code for that. So if we have a look here, it uses the reset dash IEnumerator timer for the previous dodge mechanic, just uses that and applies it to this new dodging one, essentially. So you wait for 1 second before allowing them to do it again, and yeah, that's pretty much how that works. So if we go down here to the new code, as you can see, the previous mechanic has been commented out because we no longer need it, but I still want to keep it for reference's sake. So now, if we look here, if you hold down the F key, the walk speed goes from the standard 10F, which it is now, to 25F. And if you stop holding the F key, it goes down to 10. This is the new sprinting mechanic. And then here, if you hold down the left control and A, then you will transform.translate to the left times the roll speed, which is a new float that I've assigned here, which is 40F. And that essentially means that you'll be transform.translated to the left once you hold those keys down. And it also starts the timer here, so that you have to wait 1 second before you can use that mechanic again. So it can't be spammed, essentially. And then a similar thing can be applied here, or was applied here. If you hold down left control and D, and able to dash is true, which is controlled by the timer, where is it? Here. Then transform translate to the right times roll speed. So you're essentially transported to the right. And then we've got these essentially that if is dash is false, well, if the count is less than 0, so the timer essentially, if the count is less than 0, then is dash is false, which is a boolean we set up, and if dash is false, then roll speed is 0, and then you can't dodge essentially. So that, not only does that limit the amount of times you can do it, so you have to wait a second before you can use the dodging, but it also limits how far you go. So essentially you're transform.translating for as long as that count is above, I think it's 20 I set it to. But yeah, it essentially means you can transform.translate until the timer runs out, and then you've got to wait for a second before you can use it again. And that's pretty much the main coding changes that have been made this week. The only other change I can think of is that, where's the enemy? There he is. If you go over to here, the box collider for the melee combat, well, the combat as a whole, has been extended. It used to be just there, whereas now it's extended that way. That was basically a bug fix to allow for the player to be able to hit them from all sides, rather than just the front, essentially. So yeah, those are the main changes that we made this week. Next week, one of the major focuses is going to be getting the camera clipping to actually work. And then once that's done, it's just general bug fixes and improvements, essentially.